Syria's civil war has uprooted more than half of the country's 530,000 Palestinian refugees, and their situation is becoming increasingly desperate, according to the head of United Nations Relief and Works Agency.
Of course, the Palestinians have been affected by this crisis like every other civilian, and perhaps with a greater degree of vulnerability because they are already refugees in Syria and they are now involved or affected rather by a very terrible conflict in the country. They are living in many parts of the country. There are 12 camps, 9 official and 3 unofficial camps, and unfortunately in my visit here I have assessed that in most of the camps, not all but most of them, the situation is very difficult from the military point of view. There is fighting. Armed groups and the government are confronting each other near the camps, inside the camps, and most of the, or a large portion of the Palestinian population has had to leave those camps.
The Commissioner General of UNRWA went on to estimate some 70 to 80% of the Palestinians in Syria have been affected by the 2-year conflict.
We also know that about 50,000, a bit more, 54,000, have gone to Lebanon, where we are providing them with assistance, and a few thousand have gone to Jordan, Egypt, and other countries. So there is also a phenomenon of external exodus to other places. These are refugees that become refugees a second time. It's really a very tragic situation.
UNRWA provides support for some 5 million Palestinians in Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, the West Bank, and Gaza. Those in Syria had originally maintained neutrality when the conflict broke out, but the nationwide civil war has now spurred many Palestinians to pick sides.
The most important message is the Palestinian refugees, like any refugees, are neutral, should remain neutral, and the neutrality of these communities and the neutrality of the United Nations, UNRWA facilities that serve them, schools, clinics, other community centers, should be respected by all parties, by the government and by armed opposition groups. This is a very important message. This is a message also to the Palestinians themselves. It is very dangerous that any of them gets involved in fighting one side or the other, because this will attract retaliation from the other side and complicate matters for the Palestinians themselves and for the Syrians at large.
The 2-year civil war has now claimed the lives of some 80,000 people and displaced millions more, including hundreds of thousands who have fled to neighboring countries.